Hello everybody. Today I wanted to make a video to show you how to use the class website that we'll use this year for chemistry class and how to set up your composition book for where we'll do warm-ups and take notes for your honors chem class. So this is the front page of the class website. The website is mychemistryclass.net. This is the home page you'll see when you first come to this address. There's a little welcome letter from me. My contact information is down here at the bottom. This little blue piece of paper here has some common links that you might want to use. I'll talk about those in a little while. Normally this orange tab here, the calendar, would have a monthly calendar, and I would tell you in a short little blurb what we would be doing that day. But because of remote teaching, things are a little bit different, and we need a little bit more filled out instructions and agendas. I needed places to link documents to you, just kind of make it a little bit more detailed since I'm not there in class with you every day. So instead of a normal calendar, you'll find that I say you're going to see this one-stop shop Google Doc. So I'll explain that in a little bit, but that will function like our calendar this year. The notebook tab is for a different class, so you don't need that one. You need the Honors Chem tab. On the Honors Chem tab, it's going to have a section for your 3-ring binder and a section for your composition book. Your 3-ring binder is going to be divided into 5 sections. One for reference sheets, one for study materials, one for what's called the current rainbow packet, and one for old rainbow packets. The last section of your 3-ring binder will have some binder paper and graph paper in it so that you always have some handy. If you don't have graph paper, just click this link. It'll take you to some that you can print from a printer if you can't go to the store to get some. The reference sheets, there's some kind of standard reference sheets that go at the beginning, and then it's divided up by chapter. These are documents that explain a lot about how we will do class. It has things that you'll refer to during the chapter. For example, on Unit 1, R11, if I click that, up pops a piece of paper that has some handy conversions that you might need. Maybe you don't remember how many, kilometers are in a mile, or you don't remember how many feet are in a mile, or how many quarts are in a gallon, etc. So you can, use these reference sheets to help you during the school year. Study materials, a lot of times in normal settings where we're in class physically, we'll do study work during class, reviewing for quizzes and tests. I'm not quite sure how this is going to work this year. Giving quizzes and tests remotely is going to be something that is more complicated than usual. We may give chapter quizzes at different times than normal. We may or may not do tests like we normally do. So to be honest, I'm not quite sure which of these documents you'll use from the study material section, but they are here for you anytime you do want them. I may leave them here but not assign them. I may assign them here or there. I'm not quite sure yet. So you'll be told about these if it's time to use them. We do something called rainbow packets in this class where everything for a chapter gets put together and then we color code them like the rainbow. The first packet's red and then orange, and, etc. So you can see here, during the normal school year, we would have typically 14, sometimes 15 rainbow packets that we would do. You see what we cover first semester and second semester. Like I said, with remote teaching, I'm not quite sure if we'll get to all of these or if we move them around. We'll need to be a little flexible and see how it goes. But this is everything that we hope to go through. The current rainbow packet will link to the one that we're currently on. And since it's the beginning of the school year, we're starting with number 1, the red packet. Any page numbers in yellow should be assignments that you work on completing. They should be done. They should be in your binder. ones that have a blue background, or ones we haven't done yet. I'd like to encourage you to not necessarily work too far ahead. I'm a little concerned that this year that, just because it says worksheet 8, I don't know if we'll do that one. So if you work ahead and you get a little too far and then I change my mind, or I change the assignment to something different that works better for remote learning instead of in-person learning, I don't want you to feel like you did work that was not necessary. So try to stay on pace with the class. I like to say that you work ahead at your own danger, at your own risk. I don't promise that anything is locked in stone. So look for those yellow color pages. If you click the worksheets, up will pop the worksheets. Because we're remote, getting photocopies to you will be a little bit more challenging. I've been told that I can make photocopy packets, but I don't know what day you'll be able to pick them up. So if you can't print at home, that's okay. Just do it on binder paper and just try to lay your binder paper out the same way so that we know what we're looking at. Not ideal, but we got to be flexible. If you can print, that's fabulous. If you want to get the photocopy packets from me eventually, that's great. So those are the worksheets. You're also going to see a link here that says answer keys. And yes, they are the answer keys. And I have to trust that if you are choosing to take an honors chemistry class, that you are going to be honest and hardworking and interested in actually learning. And if you're going to open up this answer key and copy all your answers, you're not going to learn, and that is going to catch up to you at some point, and it is not going to go well. So please be honest, try your best, do your own work, use the answer keys as a tool, and don't just mark that you got it wrong. Actually try to correct it, try to understand it, write little notes to yourself. I like if you would correct things in a green pen, because then when you go to study, if you see a worksheet that's covered in green pen, you know that you need to really study that worksheet. So, be honest, be hardworking, and really try to focus on the learning process here. Okay, I hope that helps you to have those available, and I hope you use them wisely this year. Okay. Now, moving on to your composition notebook. So this page here will kind of explain all the little nuts and bolts about how to do your notebook. There's links here you can look at. I have some example photos for you. I'm going to show you mine in a moment on this video, so you'll be able to see that too. And then table of contents for the composition notebook. So you'll see the chapters. You'll see links. It takes you to a PDF of the PowerPoint that we'll go over. Okay. If I make a YouTube video that goes over the PowerPoint, I'll put the link into the PowerPoint PDF so that you can always come watch it. Sometimes we have what's called glue-ins. Maybe I don't want you to have to, write every single little piece out. So normally I would print these and you'd glue them in your notebook. Well, you can print them if you need to. If you would like to print them, they're here. If I can make photocopy packets for you, I'll put them in the photocopy packet. Okay? Warm-ups, you can find the link up here. We'll do them in class. It is going to be a little different because we're remote, so just be flexible. You'll notice too, if you go back to your reference section, it tells you how to set up warm-ups, how to set up notes. If you look at the warm-up one, you're going to see that it shows little slips of paper glued in. Well, we're not doing that because we're remote teaching. It's not great, but, the warm-ups are going to be posted online. You can refer back to them. So please don't feel like you have to copy the warm-ups down word for word. There's nothing you need to print. I left this because I'm really hoping and crossing my fingers that at some point we'll be able to come back to school physically. And if we do, then we'll go back to normal and I'll print little warm-up slips of paper for you. But for now, you'll just write your answers in your notebook, so no big deal. Okay. So So that's all the stuff here on the Honors Chem tab. There's some other tabs that are useful as well. Labs. I know I won't physically be doing labs, but I will either video a lab, take pictures of a lab, find a simulation online, find some other teacher's YouTube video, maybe they did a good job doing it. And so I'll give you the data and we'll do the best we can, even if it is remote. So you might want to use some of this information on the Labs tab. The Resources tab has lots and lots of stuff on here. There's some kind of by topic. Up here, some more kind of general resources. There's some PDFs of some textbooks. Maybe that's helpful to you. I'm not going to ask you to read a textbook for a homework assignment, but if you want a reference text, it's here. I have a YouTube video. There's little QR codes you could print if you want. There's periodic tables. There's even, like maybe you want to make a crossword for something. It's down here. There's lots of stuff. Just browse around. Hopefully there's something useful for you there. About your chem class, the syllabus is over here. You can find that here. It explains what you'll need. It explains how we do our rainbow packets. Tickets are something that I do to promote participation when we're in school physically. So we're really not going to be able to do that while we're remote. But if we return, that's how I would do some participation. So a little bit about me. I grew up in Half Moon Bay. I liked it over there because it was not nearly as hot as in San Ramon. It gets really hot here for me. I went to college at Lewis and Clark in Portland, Oregon. Once again, nice and cool. It rains. It's not hot. It's beautiful there. It's very green. I really loved it there. I got my master's in chemistry at the University of Oregon. And then, after getting my master's, I realized that I had an 8-month gap between when my master's program finished and when my teaching program started. And so I thought, well, what am I going to do for 8 months? That's not long enough to do much, but it's too long to just hang out and watch Netflix. So what am I going to do? Well, I went to culinary school. I love cooking. I love baking. And it was one of those opportunities in life that you don't get very often, to just pursue something because you love it and not for the prospect of a job or a career or, college and school. So it was just a really great opportunity. I really loved it. I've been at Doherty for, I think it's 12 years now. If I counted correctly, I think it's year 12. So I've taught all sorts of things. I've taught regular chem, honors chem, AP chem. I've taught study skill classes, kind of taught a bunch of things, but for the most part, it's always chemistry. I love teaching chemistry. I'm actually married to Mr. Farmer. He teaches economics and AP economics at Doherty Valley, so he's usually in the 1000 building, and I'm in the 2000 building, so not far away. Right now, he's in one room of my house, and I'm in the other room, so we're even closer. We have a dog named Penny. She's an Australian Shepherd. We have Harley and Zoe, our cats. And then we have our daughter Josephine and our son Jason. Okay. Next, let's go back to the home page. We're going to use this one-stop shop for kind of our giant to-do list this year. Let's let this load. I have a feeling we're going to be sitting around a lot this year waiting for documents to open and load and download. We just have to be flexible and patient. Alright, so here's the first page of the one-stop shop. Please take some time to read through this. There's a little message from me. There's kind of some big key bullet points here, some expectations that I have. I'm hoping that this is helpful. I thought if I made a page that had little icons and some of the websites that you'll use often, that may be helpful to you. here's where I kind of explain once again in writing about our composition book and our 3-ring binder. These links take you to a lot of the things that I've already shown you on the class website. I'm trying to have things written down and told to you in class and make a video. I know you're going to be on information overload and people retain information in different ways. And so hopefully, at your own pace and time, you can look at all these resources, whether it's on the video or on the one-stop shop, and it'll be helpful to you. So this is kind of what it will look like. I'll have the to-do list. Some of it we'll do in class and some will be homework. Whatever we don't finish turns into homework. So that'll be easy. You just kind of go through the list. If we did this in class, then move on to the next piece. There might be some comments. You'll see in the beginning there's a lot of comments because I'm trying to make sure everybody understands every little thing. And as the week goes on, that kind of dwindles as you get used to how we do things in my class. Okay? What I'm going to try to do for the people who would like to print at home is I'm going to try to combine anything for that week into one single PDF document. So that instead of printing a bunch of things every day, you can print once a week, maybe Sunday night you print your packet for the week. And it'll be double-sided, so that these blank pages are not an accident. It's so that when you print double-sided, things turn out the right way. I'll number them so that you know where they go in your binder. So in the beginning, it may be a lot of pages because we're kind of getting our notebook set up, but we don't usually print very many things. So, the worksheets, yes, but it's not a ton every week. And then once again, please remember, I do have packets and materials and notebooks and composition books for people. I'm just waiting for that pickup day. They think they need to wait a week or two to make sure they can get all the textbooks checked out first. So just be patient. Don't panic if you can't print. It's not a big deal. We'll figure it out. Just be patient. Okay? Last thing I'd like to show you is what the warm-ups and kind of the instruction slides will look like during the class day. So when you log into the Zoom, projected on the screen will be kind of this PowerPoint. Rather than one giant PowerPoint for the whole year, I'm going to break it up by week. That way the documents are smaller and they should hopefully load faster. So you can click on these links to jump ahead in the calendar as we go. I'm going to start each week with just throwing up a little trivia thing on the screen. I feel like we never get to learn about the people and the scientists and kind of the famous experiments or learn trivia about elements. And so I thought it might be a nice way to get a little bit of those interesting little tidbits to you occasionally. You'll see a welcome slide like this. There will be some information of things to do, kind of, if you have questions, I'll tell you to type them into the chat. There will be an agenda. We'll kind of go through anything for the day. I might show you how to set up your page that day. I'll tell you what the homework might be. Depending on the day, we might do a warm-up. We might do checkout questions. We're going to use a program called Pear Deck. And Pear Deck is like a polling software. So I can poll you and ask questions. You can type in answers. And we can look at each other's responses. What I think works best is if you open Zoom on your browser, on your laptop or computer. And if you have a phone, you sign into Pear Deck on your phone. That way you can kind of see both at the same time and you're not having to click back and forth. I like doing it that way. If you don't want to use your phone or you don't have a phone that can access the internet easily, then you can just open up a new tab on your browser. It's not a big deal. I will tell you when you got to look at Pear Deck and I'll tell you when to look at the Zoom camera. So it'll be something that I'll practice with you. We'll walk through it. I'll show you how to sign up. So don't worry about it. It won't be that complicated. But I do just like to tell you that it's a feature we might start using during the year. Some people maybe already know how to use Pear Deck, and then you'll be my helpers, and I'll ask you to kind of help your classmates figure it out if they need help too. Okay? So I know that's a lot of information. I would like to briefly show you what your composition book would look like. I think seeing it might make it all kind of click. You know, listening to me talk about it, reading it on the screen is one thing. But when you see it, I think it'll make more sense. It's not as complicated as it sounds. You'll have a composition book. Okay? If you can't get one and you need one from me, then just do your work on binder paper, and when you come to the pickup day for your materials, then you can just glue everything into here and just transfer it. Okay, we'll do this together. We'll make it like an all about me page. I like using little Post-its, cut it into strips as like tabs. Then I can kind of like tab whatever I feel like. You don't have to do that, but just make it work for you. If you like the tabs, go ahead. Page 2, we'll do some safety notes. We'll do some warm-ups. When you do a warm-up, you have to title it. You write out your answers, show any work if there's math involved. In between assignments, you're going to draw a highlighter line going all the way across your page. That way it's super obvious where one assignment is and where the next one starts and the next one starts. You do not need to start a new assignment on a new page. Just put a highlighter line and keep going. Save your space. It does not need to start on a new paper every time. When we take our notes, they're going to be titled N1, N2, N3. So notes number 1, notes number 2, notes number 3. We'll have a really big title. You'll take your notes however you want. If you wanted to print the glue in, you would just, trim it and glue it in there. You can make little Post-its with extra practice and things. At the end of every set of notes, what you have to do is called KCDQ boxes. You draw 3 boxes. One stands for key terms, connections, and questions. Key terms are like vocab words or phrases or equations. Connections are connections to things you already know. It could be something you learned in science class. It could be something you learned in another class. It could be something you watched on the news or you read in a book. Anything that's specific. Please don't write 7th grade science class or biology class. That's not specific. That's not a true connection. What they've found is that if you can make different connections to various things in your brain, when your body and mind is in a stressful situation like taking a quiz or taking a test, you'll be able to reach out in your brain and access the information much faster and better than you normally would. So even though it might feel a little bit random to be filling out this connection box, if it helps us access the information in our brain better and faster, and it helps us do better on our quizzes and our tests, that's a great thing. The question box needs 2 questions. You do not have to answer them. They've shown that the benefit to our information retention and our test scores and class grades, that benefit comes from writing the questions. You don't have to answer them. You need to have what's called level 1 and either a level 2 or 3 question. So a level 1 question is basic. It's like a definition, right? What is the base for math? So that's a definition. I could point to the answer somewhere in my notebook. The next question you write needs to be a slightly more involved question. You need to be thinking about the information. You need to explain something. You have to connect something to, a different topic or comparing and contrasting something. So I will help you a little bit with how to write good questions in your notes. You can see here, I finished my notes. I did a highlighter across and the next day I did my new warm-up. I did a highlighter, started my notes. Another thing you should notice is that I've added little color annotations to my notes, haven't I? So this is a really important thing. It is required. It is not optional. You can either do them while you're taking the notes, or you can do them afterwards. Some people like to write their notes in multiple color pens. Some people like to do it afterwards. But you need to go back and make sure that you're adding in little comments and notes and, exclamation point or a star, boxes, things that help our brain tag and notice the information that we have, okay? Please do not get hung up on trying to make it pretty. Sometimes I have people who try to spend 2 hours drawing beautiful little pictures in their notebook. And that's great. If you like it and it's fun and you have the time and it's your hobby, that's fabulous. But that's not the intention of the assignment. The intention of the assignment is to use brain research to help us do better in our class. So please make sure that you're keeping the intention of the assignment in mind. I think calling it color annotations really helps remind us of what the purpose is. You can see I did some more little flippies in, things, little glue-ins. Sometimes my KCQ boxes might be really long. This set of notes has a lot of vocabulary. Some don't have very much. So please don't draw your boxes ahead of time. Please fill them out and make them as big as they need to be. Another thing is, please don't squish your notes all really close together. Our brain really needs to have visual blank space between concepts and ideas, and that helps the visual part of our brain retain information. It kind of gives your brain a picture. If you write really tiny on every single line and you squish all of your notes really close together, there is no visual for your brain to latch onto. So please give it space. You have more than enough space in a composition book for the whole school year. I have only once, in all my years of teaching, had someone go through 2 composition books, and that person wrote bigger than anyone I've ever seen, okay? So please don't feel like you have to save space. If you run out of space, I will get you another composition book, okay? I would rather you use the space that you have. So I'm just going to flip through, and you can kind of see there are pictures of, my notebook online, like I showed you. Right, hopefully you can kind of get an idea of what these notes look like. You can see I give myself lots of space. Okay. In the back, here's something I like to do. I like to glue in like a little reference sheet for me to look at. I like to print a really small periodic table and glue it in so that I can flip it up and then go back to my notes and I can see it. And that way it's not falling off the table or something. It's kind of always accessible. I can't forget it anywhere either. I also like to, in the back, make a little pocket. And I'll put a Ziploc bag in here with all my glue-ins for the week so that I don't have to cut everything, every day. I can just do it on a Sunday night and then put them in my pocket for the week. And that way I don't lose them. So I like to show you those ideas, not because you have to do them, but because I want to show you that you can really customize this to work for you. If you're going to add extras like this, please do it in the back. That way, when we go to grade your notebook and stuff, everything is going to kind of match the order that I did mine in. Okay? Well, I know that's so much information. I hope that by making it into a video that you can kind of go and watch it at your own pace, pause it, take a break, rewatch it if you need to. I hope that you guys have a wonderful first day. I hope you have a great second day. Hopefully all your Google logins work and your classes are correct and your Zoom accounts are working and that all your passwords and everything goes smoothly as possible. And, if not, day 2 will go a little bit better. And if not, we got the weekend to reset, take a break, and then, start week 2 off. It'll eventually calm down and it'll be fine. Okay? So have a great first week, and I will see you on Zoom soon. Bye, everybody.